Right. And we are live. Welcome back, everybody. It is great to see you all. Welcome back to the first Senate podcast of 2020. And tell you what a break it's been.
Yeah. Like, has it been a break? Nah, we've been here all the while.
It feels like we just got on a break and now it's like we're back into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Season's not gone on a break. So, yes, who do we have today?
Joining us is the dork from Cork himself, Fionn,
Hello.
and
I've never heard that one.
biggest fan, Mr. Todd himself.
Hooray. Thanks to be. Let's go.
As well as your host, I am Lucien, for those who have not heard from me in a while. And our other host is...
Me.
Yes. Yeah. And of course, we will always have Nicholas Wu in spirit, wherever he is. You know,
Wherever.
finally, we're doing it ourselves since he's told us to do it. Yeah, we are delivering. Okay, so our agenda for this pod, usually we have awards and stuff going on, but we've got a very special awards show coming up Saturday evening, right?
Evening.
Kids?
Yeah.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that. What time GMT is it, Keeds?
It's noon GMT.
Yeah. Yep. So we're gonna skip the awards and we're gonna go straight into preseason before we talk about Q&A. And for preseason, well, basically everyone has no data. Besides perhaps what the template team will look like. And what's going to happen is that we are going to go through the top 30 owned players, at the very least. Like, if we have time, we'll do more. But for now, we'll us hosts and our special guests here will go through the top 30 most owned players. And we are going to sort them into tiers. So, ta-da! Right, especially thanks to tiermaker.com. We're basically going to be going through the top 30 most owned FPL players as of now. And everyone's gonna give their opinion and hopefully come to a consensus as to where these players fit, so that if you are clueless come September is like in 2 days time. If you are clueless come September 11th, you would at least know who are traps and yeah. But yeah, we should get into it straight away. So how this works is that we're gonna go through each player. Everyone can like provide their thoughts on it, maybe some stats or stories you've heard. Even transfer rumors are fine. And yeah, we can I think the sooner we start, the sooner we can get going. Okay, so first player on the list. Okay, first things first. Fionn, Todd, can you guys see the tier list that I've put up?
Yep, looks beautiful.
Okay, cool. Yeah, all this thanks to Keeds, who has done this fantastic job of cropping all the pictures so that you can see the faces of the players. And
excellent.
Yeah, first name that we're putting up is should be the first name on everyone's team sheet unless you're Harvard. Sorry. Yes, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Set pieces, goals, assists, under 25 still. Liverpool. What else is there? Yeah, Keys, what do you think?
He's just as essential a player can get, really. I can't see why you can't have him. He's 7.5, but he's effectively an underpriced mid and an overpriced left on right back.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Fionn? What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's the quickest person everyone should be putting into their team. The only tiniest thing I can think of is he hasn't played any preseason yet. I mean, he should be back, but we'll know that closer to the time.
Is that a bad thing or a good thing, considering how long their season has been?
Well, if he's not fit for game week 1, then I don't think you should have him. But like I think he will be, and I think everyone should have him. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Is
Todd,
I think on
Yeah.
friendly, and he will start the community shield. But I think that's just giving Trent a bit of a break, so
Yeah.
that he is ready
Yeah.
for the season. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't own him, I just don't know what you're doing. Honestly, he should be 8.0.
Yeah.
7.5.
Yeah.
He could be 8.5. I mean, Baines was 8.0
Yeah, I mean,
years ago.
Oh.
7.5 is not different enough over Robbo, for example. It's just not
Yeah.
essential.
Okay, so in that case, I guess everyone. Oh yeah, so we're gonna do this. What's this? Not The Voice. We're gonna do this. Like those Got Talent shows, right? So
Oh,
yeah, so it's an essential for me.
Essential.
Essential.
Definitely.
essential.
Okay, someone's got to be the Paula Abdul. It's not gonna be me. All right, let's do this. TAA goes straight into essential.
Yeah.
All right, now, let's see the second most owned player. All right, so these pictures are not exactly arranged according to ownership. So does anyone want to guess who is the next most owned player after TAA? TAA is currently owned by 56.5%. Right. So without looking, without cheating,
Too low.
who's second?
I'll be honest. I'm already looking.
Damn it.
Well, I wanted to know what I was dealing with before we started.
No, it's fine. Okay, fine. Yeah, everyone else then, without looking.
I wouldn't be
Who do you think
surprised if it was Matt Ryan, is it?
No, it's not. It's a midfielder, and it is the ginger that does not have a game on game week 1.
For God's sake.
KDB.
Good old Kevin D. Brown.
Yeah, Kevin D. Brown.
Love Kevin Brown.
So, yeah. So, is there any argument on whether he should even be considered non-essential?
If Messi then
he's just so good.
But if Messi doesn't sign, he is as close to essential as you can get, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I think everyone would agree it's essential. But
are we talking from a standpoint of game week 1 squads?
Yeah,
exactly.
game week 1. Well, if you're talking game week 1, I think Trap.
Yeah,
he's not. He's definitely not in my game week 1.
He's not going to play the first week.
I think it's worth looking at this pod from a kind of game week 1 standpoint, and I don't know. I definitely wouldn't put KDB like essential game week 1, or even like trying to get him in game week 2. I don't think is essential.
I think that Aubameyang to KDB transfer game week 3 is just just too perfect.
Yeah, it does. I actually agree with that. I was gonna say, like, if you don't own KDB, how, like, when he does become essential, that really the question really is, when does he become essential? Because eventually he will be, one way or another.
I mean, you could argue game week 2 he becomes essential as soon as he sets foot on the pitch, but I think I'll hold off a week.
Of course.
Even with the threat of Messi? What if Messi takes up his...
if Messi joins, then all bets are off, really, aren't they? You've just got to get him.
Something like that.
Unless he's, I don't know what the price. I mean, if this is not the point of what we're talking about right now, but if he comes in at 14, which is what I kind of expect, then that's, you buy him, don't you? And then you've got to decide whether you want De Bruyne as well, or surely you can't have both Trent and, say, Salah. It's just, Messi, what are you doing?
Yeah, I know. All right, so can we all at least agree for now that he's essential, but with a caveat from game week 3?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So if we're talking in general, is essential. If we're talking game week 1, I'd say, Trap potentially.
Okay, that sounds great. All right, now, yes, next most owned player. Fionn, do you want to take a guess?
Oh no, I already got one wrong. I don't even want to.
I've looked away now, so I can guess if you're willing to trust me.
Okay, so wait, let me pull the
screen. So it's one of those boys.
Yeah, like maybe guess which row you think they're from. Like first row, second row, or third row?
Third row. That's a big row. That we've got Pope, Bruno, Salah, Ings, and Mitro. Surely one of those boys.
No,
Oh, fuck.
none of them. None of them are the third most owned. He's currently nearly having the same ownership as De Bruyne. De Bruyne's on 39.2%. He's on 39.1%.
I've noticed Sterling isn't in the top 30, by the way. That's quite surprising.
That's a good thing.
It's a shame because I would have quite liked to argue for Sterling over De Bruyne.
Yeah.
There's definitely an argument for it. But anyway, but he's not here, is he? So too bad.
Okay, so he's from the second row. So you get one more try.
Oh,
Timo Werner.
It's got to be one of the strikers, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely Timo Werner.
Oh.
I saw him in many drafts last week. Not so much recently.
I think he's cheap.
Me too. I believe he's underpriced.
Yeah, I wouldn't say essential, but I'd make a new bracket and I'd say underpriced because I think he is going to score a lot of points.
Yeah, he's sort of in between essential and never bench, never cap, isn't it? Because
you would cap him, yeah.
I could cap him.
Yeah.
Okay, the question really is, how do you draw the line in the sense? Like, because perhaps the reason he's in between is because he's going to flip between the two brackets, depending on fixtures, maybe, form, maybe. I mean, does anybody know whether Timo Werner is a form-based forward, or is he like Harry Kane, where he can like have an off day but still score somehow?
Well, I mean, we don't really know how he's going to get on in the Premier League, but for me, he seems very similar in mould to Aubameyang and Vardy in terms of play style. Especially Aubameyang, also coming from the Bundesliga, also likes to cut in from the left. Very quick, lethal finish. I just think he's going to do very well.
And you got to think that Chelsea team will make a lot of chances for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they scored the third most goals with Abraham, Willian, and Mount instead of their new signings. I just think, how could they not
build on that?
Yeah.
He hasn't left any of my drafts, I must say.
Yeah, I just think that for 9.5, you're not going to get any better value across the board for any forward in the game.
I guess it helps as well that Vardy's old Aguero has tailed off and Aubameyang's been moved into midfield. So there's literally no competition.
Yeah, it's not a massive risk either because, as you said, he's the second most owned player in the game.
Yeah.
It's not a.
Okay, yeah, I mean, so verdict time.
Oh God, this is tough between the two.
Alex, you wanna go first?
If between those two, I would say essential, but it hurts me to say that.
Okay, Keeds, what do you think?
I think essential too, but only because he was one of the first players I got into my first draft, and as Fionn said, he's never left my team at all.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Essential is a strong word, but you might as well put him there because he's not never bench, never cap.
Yeah,
you better believe he's captain at home to Fulham.
Potential. That's true. That's very, very true. Okay, so for the sake of not being bad, he is basically awesome. All right. All right, next most owned player should be quite the obvious since we're on the subject of goal scoring. I'm just going to go straight into it just to keep momentum going. Our dearest Bundesliga role model, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Yes, where does PEA go?
Essential.
Yeah, it's a home game against. Is it a home game or is it an away game?
I think it matters when it's Fulham, to be honest.
I am going to say I did tinker him out today, and I think I will go without him.
And
that's a bombshell.
Who did you get at the expense of him?
Excuse me?
Who did you get at the expense of Aubameyang?
Kind of Vardy.
Why?
Vardy was kind of the player in. I don't massively expect Aubameyang to do well, I must say. I kind of had him in just because of the blank game week. And the more I think about it, the less I want him. He could still end up back in there, but I'm a bit more comfortable with Vardy.
Is that because he's playing West Ham game week 2?
He's not. No, that is not why. But at the same time, I don't think West Ham's defense is what it was when people look at it.
Yeah.
I said it's better.
Yeah.
Good.
Thing with Format is, like, you chuck him at striker, chuck him at left wing, chuck him wherever, he will always find a way to goal. Always. He's always like, his attention is always diverted onto the goal. No matter where he is. If he's on the left, he'll cut inside. If he's in the right, he'll cut inside on his left. So put him anywhere, he'll still bang goals. It's just a matter of how he gets them.
Yeah.
I would have one question for Aubameyang owners for the first 2 weeks. Is that if he were to score 2 hat-tricks, like, are you sticking with your plan of City assets or not?
I think I would.
Because, if Arsenal play Fulham and then we play West Ham, we then go to a tough run of games where we play Liverpool, Sheffield, Man City, and Leicester all back to back. So I don't think our performances against Fulham and West Ham will be enough of an indication of how we perform against the top teams yet.
So it's got to be.
Yeah, it is.
So in the space of 5 games, they're away at Liverpool, City, and United, who were the last season's top 3. That's no, thank you.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. For me, the only dilemma is if, let's say, Aubameyang blanks on game week 1 and De Bruyne catches fire, would you move early for game week 2 before his price drops?
De Bruyne can't catch fire.
Well,
if he's not playing game week 1.
It wouldn't be on the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
it's true.
If he catches fire off the pitch, then obviously not.
Okay, then let's settle. 4 essentials it is. All right, next one. Someone really, really close to Aubameyang, our newest haircut guy.
Oh, Mohammed. Let's go.
Yeah, Mohammed. So where does Mohammed go? He's owned by 1/3 of all managers.
I'll just come in and say I think he is. He's got the best FPL record of any player ever. I think
why
you should have priced him at 12.5.
By 1/3 of players.
I don't know. I think they're wrong. Basically, is what I'm saying.
I think he's twice as essential as Aubameyang.
The fixtures are good until like January, besides the odd game here or there. Liverpool don't care about fixtures anyway. His 3 total scores are 303. Sort of pause on that. 259 and 233 points was a bad season. Sign him. That's all you got to do. Just buy him. Don't let him leave. What are you doing? He's on pens.
Yeah.
Essential.
Yeah. Can't argue with that. Okay, then that one. All right. Good momentum so far. All right. Now, this is where we start tailing off. This is where it's getting hard to predict. So our next guy is a striker. So that narrows it down to maybe Jimenez, Martial, who else have I got left? Mitrovic, Ings. Yeah, and Vardy.
And Vardy.
Kane. So I've got 6 players left. Who do you guys? Oh, and Antonio, 7.
And Davis.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes, and our dearest bench for the Davis. So
if Davis is there.
Yeah, Davis is there. So who is the most owned, do you guys think?
I'll go for Kane.
So the
you've already
answer
done
is our dearest Alexandra Hothead Red Card Mitrovic.
Oh my god.
At 6.0. 6.0. 30% of us own him for some weird reason.
Right.
All right. So let's begin with the question. Is he actually good now? Finally.
We ask this every time he gets promoted.
Yeah, he's kind of like Robert Earnshaw, right? Too good for the championship, but too shitty for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not boring. I'll give him that, but I don't know. You can smell a red card coming, can't you? Easily, but he costs 6. So
And with VAR as well, like how many of those like little elbows, niggling elbows, he's like get pulled up
he
on.
choked a player in the final of the playoffs.
I haven't considered him much. I mean, to me, it just seems like one of those things where someone's saying to themselves, Fulham have to score at some point, and it has to be him. And I think we just kind of slowly realize every year it doesn't have to be him, and Fulham don't have to score. And
So does that mean that Fulham don't score though? Because it's not as if Fulham did get somebody new. There's no Ryan Sessegnon this time.
He got 11 goals, 4 assists last time. Are they a much different side in terms of quality overall? Probably not.
I don't think they are.
No,
but
I'd probably say Trap, to be honest.
I think Trap. I'd hate to say. I mean, it's kind of hard to say at this point, but in my head, he's a Trap.
Well, the good news about Fulham this time round is that, unlike last time when they got promoted, they did not go on a spending spree. If you guys remember, when Fulham got promoted last time, they bought Jean-Michel Seri, they bought Zambo Anguissa, and a whole bunch of other foreign names that, have long gone since. So we're left with people like Joe Bryan. I mean, Anguissa's still around, and he's still pretty good. Yeah. So
right.
This is essentially the same squad, at the very least.
I think I'm going to go differential Daniel. I think he'll have his use at some point.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. He will score goals. He's
definitely not the top
too
2.
sporadic to be able to commit to having him in your team long term.
What about in the first game week against Arsenal itself? Because after Arsenal, they have I think they avoided for like 8 games or something.
Yeah, the run after is not too bad, but I wouldn't say essential.
He's definitely not essential. So verdict time.
I'm going to say differential Daniel.
Fionn?
Yeah, I'll go differential Daniel. I think it's hard to call him a Trap just because he got 11 goals last time out, and that was a pretty bleak Fulham side. And he could put up similar numbers, and 11 goals isn't terrible.
Somehow he wasn't sent off last time.
Somehow.
I think he will be this season.
He's definitely due. He's definitely due.
VAR is going to get him like twice.
Okay. He looks like a differential Daniel, but in my definition of differential, you always have to differentiate against something. So with Mitrovic at 6.0, he's usually not a first striker. So if he's like your second striker or maybe your cheapest striker in your team, honestly, he'd be differentiating against someone like Jimenez or Martial or Ings. And for me, he's actually better value than all 3 at the moment.
Ooh.
Because Wolves have had a long European trip where Jimenez has played everything. So his only opponent is essentially Ings. And Abraham's got no potential now since Werner has come in. So my opinion is never bench, never cap, especially for this opening 10 fixtures.
It's reasonable.
Keeds?
Yeah, I'd go differential Daniel. I was leaning towards Trap, but then I guess depending on the makeup of the rest of your team, you wouldn't necessarily call him a never bench, never cap, because there will be some instances where you might have to bench him. And I know I've toyed with the idea of having him on the bench in the first week against Arsenal, but then having him on the team for Fulham's favourable run after that. So I reckon differential Daniel.
Okay, then the verdict is obvious. Okay, next up, our first Man United player. All right, Bruno Fernandes, the funny penalty man. Will Man United get as many penalties? Like for me, I'm just gonna
mean,
say straight up, I
wow.
do not like the look of Man United at all. Like every Man United player is a trap for me until they prove that they are worth something. Especially since Pogba has just been tested positive for COVID-19.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty harsh calling Bruno Fernandes one of the best players of the the whole second half of last season a trap. But in a way, you're right. Like we don't know how well they're going to carry this momentum over, or how their new team's going to look like, or how they're going to keep getting the same amount of ridiculous penalties every game. It's just like
Yeah, I am not a big Bruno Fernandes fan. He outperforms basically in every stat during the restart. It was kind of incredible. But I mean, I just can't call him anything other than a trap right now.
Okay, so that's 3 traps. Yeah.
I have to do a real good sales pitch to turn it off the trap, aren't I? But I don't know what I don't think he's essential, because I think 10.5 is a little higher than what I was willing to pay for him. I think I'll say differential, Daniel, just because I think people will go for the more surefire heavy hitters over Bruno because of his price, when you can get Greenwood or Martial or Rashford for cheaper. But he looks destined for that trap bin.
Okay.
I think he's a little overpriced, just because, what is it, 20-something penalties? It's not going to happen again, even though he's excellent at them.
I could see him being an absolute thorn in my side though throughout the whole season. I could see him having like 40% ownership, and
if he does well, he's going to be so highly owned.
It's going to be so irritating.
Very quickly.
Painful to watch as a non-owner.
Yeah. And he shoots a lot, but it's always such low percentage shots. Some of them will go in. Probably more assist potential.
Yeah.
But a great player, but for 10.5, I think I'd rather just pay the one more and get Sterling or KDB.
Or I'd rather pay 1.5 less and get Martial.
True.
Yep, that sounds about right. So if we want to get over this low shot potential while having penalties, our next man, Danny Ings, at 8.5. We are now going into 1/4 territory. So typically 1 out of 4 of us would own Ings, and I'm pretty sure among the 4 of us that 1 out of 4 is me. Yeah, because I don't own Werner. I've gone with Ings for this one. So for me, for his form, especially considering he doesn't have Euro, I would definitely advocate him for never bench, never cap at the moment, because
I agree
he's
with that.
so easy to turn into Werner later on.
The only reason I'm not starting with Ings is because I already have 3 Southampton players in McCarthy, Walker Peters, and Stuart Armstrong.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, he's... Again, I think 8.5 might be a bit much, because last season was literally his first season for God knows how long, where he wasn't injured for half of it. And if he can stay fit again this season, I don't see why he can't score another good points tally and earn 8.5. He's not essential. I wish he was a touch cheaper. He'd be in my team easily. It's just difficult to fit. But I'll go never bench, never cap, I think.
Okay. Never bench, never cap. Yes. Fionn, do you agree? Never bench, never cap?
Yeah, I mean, it is almost painful to pay 8.5 for a Southampton striker, but he definitely, I'm not ruling him out from my game week 1 team, because I have Vardy in there at the moment, and he would save me 1.5, and he's very kind of similar scorer to Vardy in terms of his output. So never bench, never cap to me. I mean, I might not start with him, but yeah, he's a good player.
The fixtures are so good as well.
Yeah, he's great fixtures.
Yeah. Okay. Now, finally, our first goalkeeper of the selection. We are still in 1/4 territory. I do not own him. I regretted selling him because our dearest Nick Pope is still a wall. He still sits behind his same wall of 4, maybe 6, maybe 8. And he's 5.5 now. So it's worse
What
than
are
when
you
Palace
doing?
had that great record. Yeah,
I feel like this
5.5.
is rethink your life category. Like
Oh.
paying 5.5 for Pope when you can have Charlie Taylor or Peters or Lowton at 4.5. Like, why are you spending that money on Pope?
I'll agree with that. First, rethink your life player. And I'm glad to see his ownership as high as it is because
It's just so much to spend.
just so much money.
Yeah, it is. 5.5
And I'd
is
love
like
to see
Hugo
them
Lloris
crash and burn.
territory.
It's a tricky one because I think that's the only price they could have really put him at.
Yeah,
If he was
I agree.
5.0, then I think maybe he wouldn't be in every side because he don't play the first week.
I mean, he was in contention for Golden Glove for like all the way
But
until 3/4. Like
he's
three
played
games
2
towards
full
the-
seasons.
Then
2
you
full
got
seasons.
team game. Like, if he gets clean sheet points, his defenders will get clean sheet points too.
Yeah. Made 120 saves last year though.
Yeah, that's mad.
Mind you, Ryan made 117. So
Yeah, like
I mean, it's not as egregious as Carl Darlow being 5.0, which I learned today. That is
Yeah.
that made me sad. I'm not gonna lie.
is he really 5.0?
Yeah.
I mean, someone at FPL Towers is just rubbing their hands together at this Dubravka injury.
Because I saw that injury and I was like,
Oh no!
pick him up.
I wonder did
don't
they
do it.
sneakily change him when no one was looking? I'd say no one would
Yeah, has
notice.
to be. I
Because
would
no one
absolutely
looked at
agree
it
with that.
prior until now.
Yeah.
It's atrocious. Like I just don't. I understand it, but I don't understand it because I mean this is complete segue. But
I genuinely just don't understand it. A backup keeper.
because Matt Ryan's 4.5 and he's a strong key, he'll get you a good points total. But Carl Darlow ain't played for 2 years.
Newcastle's backup is 5.0. Yeah, Liverpool's backup is 4.5.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay,
Mad.
so now we move on into actually interesting players. Our winner of goal of the season last month by basically working in the military, so he's fast. Dearest Hyung-Min Sun. He's currently priced 9.0. He's got a decent home game against Everton, and he's not Kane. Potential to play out of position striker. Is he still a differential?
I think he's a differential.
Differential Daniel for me.
There's so many premium mids to choose from this year that if you do have Son in there, it's a difference to people who are going with the Bruno, or Aubameyang, those kind of guys. So I think it's definitely a differential for those who do own him.
And I have to say he's a good differential to me.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys own him?
Yeah, I do.
He's in my draft at the moment, but
Yeah.
It changes on an hourly basis. To be honest,
He hasn't left mine for a good few days. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in mine. I have no idea why he's in all 3 of our drafts and he's only 1 in 4 of the public. So, okay, so shall we leave him at differential Daniel for now?
yeah, I think so. I think he's a player who could become more into the essential category as the season goes on at 9.0. I think it's a good price, but
and with 3 good fixtures.
I just don't know how Mourinho and Spurs are going to get on this year.
Yeah.
It could be if it's a great year, then Son will be flying. 9.0,
true.
Brilliant.
That's
but if
true. It's all about the manager.
I mean, last season, some periods of time they were so bad. I just didn't want to go anywhere near them. Didn't matter how good their individuals were. They were just terrible. So we'll see. But he's in my team for now.
Okay, sounds good. I'm glad that we arrived at that consensus. Okay, here's another one. Our first budget guy. Yeah, our first budget guy. Real budget guy. Matty Ryan. Does Brighton merit any mention at all defensively in the first place if they do not score goals or free kick like Lewis Dunk?
I feel terribly strongly about Matt Ryan as a trap. I despise him as a pick.
Wow.
How he's remained 4.5 after being in so many teams for so many years and doing well is crazy to me. But
I don't deny his ability as a keeper. It's more of a Brighton thing.
Yeah, the defense.
Yeah, I understand.
I think people's image of Brighton in their head is a Chris Hughton Brighton from 2 years ago, not a Graham Potter.
Yeah. Yes, correct.
Yeah, the clean sheets are. I've got to say, for some reason, Brighton are one of those teams. In my head, I'm like, good fixture run. I'll get a Brighton defender, and they'll keep some clean sheets, and they just never do.
Correct.
You also have to hand it to
I
Brighton.
made a mistake. I hated it.
Do you remember when everyone captained?
Shame.
Yeah. Why did we do that?
And
got
sorry
2
for
points
the
times
people
two,
that-
right?
Everywhere. It was on Twitter. It was on Reddit. It was everywhere. People were like, "Double game week. Brighton have got a double game week. Let's captain a defender." And they kept
And you got
0 clean sheets, if I remember right. So,
Okay.
Brighton are
Verdict
also such a
time.
poor team that like when they keep their clean sheets, Matt Ryan seems to get like 6 saves, 3 bonus, and like double-digit haul
Yep.
every time. It's sickening.
his points are fine. I don't think I can go personally as low as Trapp.
Okay.
Because if I look at last season's points, I think he scored more than Edison, Allison. Granted, they had periods out potentially. More than Pickford, more than McCarthy, more than Lloris, definitely more than Kepa. I think 4.5 is a fair price. You get what you pay for, though. Is what I'd say.
So
I'll
different, Daniel.
I'll go differential, Daniel.
Okay. He remains a trap for me. Keeds?
I'd say differential, Daniel.
Definitely some trap elements going on with Brighton defense, isn't there? Trapped everyone into captaining them.
Fionn?
He's still a trap to me. He remains a trap.
Okay. So we are 2-2. I wish we had an in-between, but we shall favor the higher tier for now because we are optimistic people. Yeah. We'll
That's
just
so
go with
nice.
that. Okay. Now, next up, this guy. He's in the conversation, and yet Robertson isn't. So that 1.0 price difference does make a difference. At 6.5, Virgil van Dijk has everything going.
So what I'll say for Van Dijk is that this season's fixture list is so unbelievably congested. It's not even funny. I think the European clubs have a game every midweek until like December sometime, for example. Therefore, I think we're going to see more rotation in the fullbacks, and I think Van Dijk will continue to play every game. Therefore, I reckon he'll outscore Robertson, but not Trent. Yeah.
Why not both?
So I think Van Dijk will play, I don't know, 3-4 more games minimum than one of the fullbacks.
So,
which I think improves him.
I think the real question to ask is whether you have 1 or 2 Liverpool defenders, because some drafts have Salah, Mane, TAA. Some drafts have TAA, 1 defender, and Salah. So the differential isn't against TAA, it's actually against a Liverpool midfielder, because for the money you save,
But for large periods, you could go over KDB and 2 Liverpool defenders. Yeah. I think I'm going to revise my essential. I got carried away there. I think I'd probably go never bench, never cap, because I don't think I'm ever captaining Van Dijk.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, never bench, never cap it is. Any objections, Fionn?
No. All I want to say is really that looking at like last year, Robbo got 181. Van Dijk got 178. So that was only 3 fewer points, and it was a similar case the year before, and that includes like a mad run by Robertson towards the end of the last season. I think he's not that I have anything against a Robertson pick, but I think he's as good a pick, if not better.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just wish I could have him and Trent.
Yeah.
I can't go without Trent.
Okay. Very nice. All right. Moving on. He plays on the right. He might move. He might not move. He's good, even though he doesn't look that good. Is he the epitome of hard work? Is Matt Doherty there because he just happens to be there, or does he genuinely time himself to be there? Where does he get his goals from? Where does he get his magic from? Is he worth it at 6.0? Because I am biased towards Wolves. He was the second player in my team sheet after Trent Alexander-Arnold. So he's on. Like, I have capped Doherty before, and I have gotten points off Doherty because I capped him. So he's essential for me, but obviously he's not for you guys. So I'd rather you guys debate this.
I would dare say trap.
Yeah, he is a Spurs player as far as I know.
Very soon.
Everything's been done.
So I think he's going to play in a back four for a worse defense for 6.0. I think I don't want to say he's bad because last season I remember Aurier being really, really far up, and presumably Aurier is going to go somewhere. AC Milan probably.
So does Doherty just slot into that Aurier position where
I think so. Aurier was basically a right winger at times last season, so it fits quite nicely.
But for 6.0, it's a bit of a stretch.
6.0.
More wait and see. So I think trap.
Okay, so shall we label him a trap, assuming he's a Spurs player?
If he's a Spurs, 6.0 for Spurs defense right now. It's so weird saying that about a Mourinho side, an attacking right back in Mourinho side, and it feels trappy.
Yeah, we're in a new decade, so that
this is true.
Something.
10 years ago, maybe it would be.
Yeah,
essential.
10 years ago we would have paid 6.5.
Yeah, I mean, if they improve, then he could be, assuming he's as far forward as Aurier was, he could be very good. But I'm not going to pay 6.0 for a Spurs defender at the moment.
No.
While he was with Wolves, he never left my team. But with the news today, I'm a lot more hesitant, and I'm playing around much more with Van Dijk in there.
Okay,
over
so
Doherty.
trap it is?
Yeah. I feel like
if he's with Spurs,
even at Wolves, I think he's a trap. Even with Matt Gray on offer,
yeah,
got much more cheaper options. And then I feel like he's just a wait and see. Like you don't want to start with like waste 6.0 on a player you don't know who's going to go.
Especially he's leaving Wolves.
Especially if you also got Trent in the back line as well. That's a lot of money on defense.
Yeah, I mean everyone's so expensive in the midfield as well. It's so difficult.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Doherty. Doherty used to be partner in crime with Jimenez, but now he's partnered up with Traore. Strangely, Jimenez is the next most owned still, even though he has risen to 8.5. And we are still in a 1 in 5 category. He's owned by 21%, 22%-ish. So how many of us here actually have him? I don't.
I don't.
I don't.
Not me.
It's partly due to their opening pair of fixtures, I think.
Yeah. So where does he sit? Because Wolves don't score that much. They still look like essentially a counter-attacking side. So
I think differential Daniel, because if we've got Ings as defensive a cap and he's the same price as Jimenez, but differential Daniel, I feel like because with Wolves there's more options you can go for. Like Jota is now a mid. You got Traore, as we're going to get to in a bit. Whereas with Southampton, you're really relying on Ings. Maybe Che Adams as a budget option, but we don't really want to talk about him just yet. But yeah, I feel like Jimenez is a differential Daniel.
Okay. I mean, I can agree with that because Ings is like my main guy, so I'm okay with Jimenez being a differential.
I think that I don't know. I think Jimenez. He's not a very exciting pick, but 2 seasons he's been in the league, he's scored very well. He gets assists and goals. He's more. I would say I'm more sure that he'll do a good number of goals, assists, and points this season than I am about Ings, just because I'm not sure about Ings' fitness. But I can't say he's essential. I think I'd probably err towards never bench, never cap, just because his record since he's been in the league is, higher than of an 8.5 striker. I'd pay 8.5 for 194 points that he got last season. no problem. But I can understand differential Daniel because they're in the same price. It's not far off Werner. It's not far off Martial. It's a lot of competition in that bracket.
Yeah, that's fair. Fionn, you're the decider.
Yeah. He's an excellent pick, really. Just not for me as for the start, but yeah, like I call him a differential to start with, but then a never bench, never cap for the entire season. So
Okay.
I'll go
That's
never
fair.
bench, never cap just
Yeah,
for the
okay.
whole
So
season.
we'll put an asterisk on this and call him a differential just for these opening fixtures.
Yeah, go
That's
for it.
great. Okay. Now, another new signing coming up, obviously from Chelsea, Hakim Ziyech, the man most famous for his 40-yard wonder pass from somewhere level with the field towards some fella running on the left wing. Ziyech does everything, including this finger celebration thing that he does, similar to Griezmann. Yeah. So I think I've not seen a player as futsal based as him since Adel Tarabt from QPR, basically. So we're looking at an upgraded version.
Yeah, just a little upgrade there.
So,
Yeah.
if you're comparing him to Adel Tarabt, would that then make him a trap?
No, because he's an upgraded version. He's like the good version that can
Like
actually
how
deliver.
An upgraded trap.
Does it hurt you more in the end?
Because the thing is, with 8.0, he's at that point where you can sort of afford to have him even if you don't want him. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I guess he'd probably fall into never bench, never cap if people were going with him.
I think he's an excellent player. He's the one that they've signed that I'm not sure how he's going to get on in the league, basically.
And I'm not sure if I want to have both Werner and Ziyech in my team at the start.
That's right.
He's at a difficult point in that there's not many players that I like around the 7 million midfielder, 7.5. Until you reach Son at 9, I'm not really that interested. I do have Ziyech in my team right now because I got him in for Aubameyang, but I can't say he's definitely not nailed anyway in my side. I'd say differential Daniel right now.
Okay. Fionn, your verdict.
Differential Daniel.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Todd.
Oh God, I feel like anything I say now could end up looking stupid. Half of me wants to say he's going to light the league on fire. He's going to score this. He's going to assist this many goals. He's going to make 8.0 look cheaper than Bruno made it. But I wonder how he's going to get on in the league. I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think he spent the vast majority of his career in the Netherlands, if not all of it. It's very different. We've seen players come with a lot of hype from that league and struggle. I mean, I'm thinking like Eriksen, he performed really well, but Depay was horrific. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'll go differential. Just because it could end up looking super cheap, but I think it's too early to tell. So I'll go differential, Daniel.
Yeah.
Okay. Keeds?
I was sort of up in an hour in between trap, differential Daniel, and never bench, never cap. I can see the arguments for all three of those categories. I'm just looking at the record of players who have come from the Eredivisie into the Premier League and struggled, as Todd mentioned. Like, I'm trying to think of an example that, like, I think David Klaasen's a good example for Everton. He came in, he was a lot of hype for Everton, and then he just flopped hard.
And going the other way as well, Tadic was like lighting up the Eredivisie.
Yeah, so that's another. So I guess differential Daniel is probably the best way to go for that one.
Okay, then it's 3 differential Daniels. Then we are settled. All right, now finally someone that got reclassified as a forward, Tony Martial. So I'm gonna openly say first and foremost that any Man United play for me is still a trap. So it's very obvious that I say he's a trap. Yeah, I'll leave it to you guys. Fight!
I have to say, Tony single-handedly tanked my rank during the restart, and I despised him throughout all of it. But I'm quite optimistic about him this season. I'd say never bench, never cap. I think he offers better value than Bruno and Rashford. And
I disagree with that. I think
9.0, man. That's like Firmino
I think
range.
for an extra 1.5, I think you're better off going Bruno over Martial, if I'm being honest.
really,
Yeah.
Oh. 9.0.
So I think 9.0 is pretty much the perfect price for him. To be honest, I think he was in my game week 1 squad last year, but he cost less and he was a midfielder, so
Yeah.
that was nice. And he ain't playing this time, but I think I don't think he's going to be that highly owned. Besides, the United bandwagon that happens every year. Because I think Werner's better as a pick and as a player.
Definitely.
But he got 17 goals last year. He was injured for a good chunk of it. He didn't take us. I think he took a pen but missed it.
Mm.
So I don't think any of those goals are penalties. He gets the odd assist as well. I'd like him to get more chances, but when he does get a chance, he usually scores it. I think he's going to better his goal tally this season. And at 9.0, if he does that, I guess that is a good price. But there's I think I'd probably would rather have Werner, and not probably. I've got Werner.
So if you think about having Martial instead of maybe Werner,
yes,
start with Werner. But if you want to change to Martial after the blank, I guess it falls under differential Daniel, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think I'd probably go differential Daniel because it's him versus Werner versus Ings basically versus Jimenez. But I think trap is disrespectful for Martial. I think it's fine for most of the other United players though. I think Martial, low key, did quite well, especially when he was being fed by Lingard and Pereira for half the season. Which is, if we want to get those boys in there, rethink your life.
What do you think, Keith?
I think differential Daniel. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We are smooth sailing. Okay, next one. The man, the legend, the biceps. We've seen many oiled up pictures of him. Yeah. So you want to look at the moon? Forget it. Look at Adama Traore's massive deltoids.
No homo.
Yeah, no homo, man. This guy, like, I think the sole reason people watch Wolves is to just watch Adama Traore,
get oiled up on the sideline
and slither past people. Yeah.
He claims he doesn't go to the gym, by the way, which is just atrocious. There's no way.
Yeah, how is a man that big?
That's not physically possible.
Yeah.
False.
It's like he's established a career after football already.
He doesn't gym, but he eats like a kilo of creatine every meal.
Yeah, maybe it's just like Rocky montages, like every morning.
Yeah, could be.
6.5. 6.5.
I think the price is good. It's just that those bloody Wolves mids. There's too many of them to play all at once.
Well,
I think
6.5 is probably the only midfielder you'd argue for the 7.0 range at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, if I knew he was going to play every game, he'd be in my team now.
I don't trap, only because he's a very streaky player, and you don't know if he'll carry that form into the game week 1, game week 2, game week 3. But as soon as he hits his straps, you know you want him.
Yeah.
So he's a trap to start off with, I think, but he'll become the never best ever cap if he does hit his form, which he will at some stage.
I actually agree because Traore does tend to be injury prone still, especially given his playing style. He doesn't get the minutes that he should be getting. That's the other thing.
If he played every game, I think it'd be really easy to have him in your team, and then you don't have to necessarily worry too much about getting Jimenez in.
5.
Hopefully he can. Well, not necessarily him, but there's obviously there's Diogo Jota, there's Podence, there's was it Podence? I don't know how you pronounce his name. There's
He's Greek, so it's Podence.
Neto as well. Is Neto a mid or a forward or something? Is he still there? If any of those were nailed, they're priced really well.
Yeah.
Trap potentially.
Okay.
Real potential.
We shall leave him at trap. All right. Next one. Our first cheap as chips. That's the term. Yes. Cheap as chips are Mr. Aston Villa goalkeeper Nyland, who I did not even recognize his face. Like, I should have, because I remember watching the Sheffield United game, watching his stupid face push the ball against the goal post.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
Desperate fool that's like, you know what? Like, okay. Let me just tell a very quick story from my high school, right? I used to play basketball a lot, and I was one of those desperate kids who did not have the natural ability to do anything. But I was so desperate that I would like hang on to the ball for dear life in any situation, and the coach would have to like wrangle the ball off me and go, stop, the exercise is over, stop. Yeah, so watching Nyland push the ball against the post with all hope, with that hope, that blind hope that the ball did not cross the line, even though he knows that the ball is in the goal already. I swear that just triggers you, man. That triggers you.
Genius, though. It worked.
It worked, yeah.
It was hilarious, but it worked.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, so controversial, but since he's the only 4.0 keeper, which at the moment should play because Villa don't have another keeper, I would argue that he's essential.
Oh,
just because of his price.
I have to agree.
Like, if they sign another keeper, then I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where he falls into there because he's sort of never cap, always bench.
Yes.
But as it stands, if they don't have another keeper, he costs 4.0, so I'd say he's essential.
I'd say he's essential too, actually.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, there's no one else there, and
yeah. Okay. All right. So from strong arms to strong will, now we've got strong legs. Alan Saint Maximin, we are into 1.6% now. 18.2% is, I don't know. He's in my draft. He's one of those guys.
5.5 though. How bad a trap can you be?
You laugh at.
Ownership is too high though for a Newcastle player.
It is high.
He's basically a glorified Yannick Bolasie.
Yeah.
5.5.
I don't understand. This is relevant, but I don't understand what FPL towers are doing looking at the Newcastle players and pricing them. They're just like, they're off their tits this year with these players. Carl Garlow is 5.0. What are you doing?
This is going to be a thing.
What? Saint Maximin had a much better period of time when he was actually around and playing than what's it called? Almiron. Almiron cost 0.5 more.
Yeah.
Saint Maximin got, let's have a look. It was 17 fewer points in half the season compared to Almiron, and Almiron cost more. I feel like they're just. Joel Linton's 6.0.
Yeah.
Gale is 6.0.
This is one of those doing that, like, you don't feel comfortable having him in your starting side.
I do.
But then he's too expensive for a bench spot. So it's like you just don't have him all together.
I'd start him just because he's that cheap, and therefore probably can get like Son in or something. But
exactly,
I'm a firm believer that I think Stuart Armstrong is a better 5.5. But I'm willing to be proven wrong. But...
Well, so he got 3 goals, 5 assists in. So he played 1,800 minutes. How did he join in Jan, or is he just like late to join up with them or something?
Last summer.
Joined last summer. So why did he play so few minutes? Was he injured for a period of time? Or?
I think he was injured.
No, it's because Newcastle are bad.
That is true. That's facts.
Yeah.
I think actually it's annoying because he's in my team at the moment. But I think he might be a trap.
Well, it's one of those things, right? Like like some, when you watch football, you can tell when you see raw talent. And I'm pretty sure watching Newcastle against Wolves, right? Can you imagine two sides that only have one wing back, and then you get Saint Maximin against Traore on the same side of the pitch, right? You can imagine that it's just running up and down with no end products. That's their reputation. So the question really is, this season, would they have grown into the mature person who can deliver assists or goals from all that running? Because they wouldn't lose it. They won't lose their speed now. They're like peak age at the moment.
I don't think how you can see that Newcastle attack and think they're going to improve this year. I think it's only going to get worse. I mean,
I've been trapped.
Okay, verdict time. He's differential Daniel for me.
I think 5.5 is a fair price, but Newcastle, I don't think betting on their attack is a good idea. So yeah, trap.
Okay, Keeds.
Trap. 100% trap. TRAP.
Okay. We need one more verdict.
yeah, trap it in.
Okay, trap it is. All right. Last one before we hit 20 players. Sheffield United, where have they gone? Henderson's left, but now we have a 5.0 defender called Egan. He's the
Big
most
Jono.
owned. Somebody explain to me why. Because why is he more owned than John Lundstrom? Please, somebody enlighten me.
Well, John Lundstrom's a midfielder now. That's the problem.
Yeah.
He's a rethink your life for me, especially without Dean Henderson.
Oh,
Yeah.
what, Egan or Lundstrom?
Egan.
Oh,
Egan.
I think that's very harsh.
I was leaning
I think
towards
that-
Daniel at first, before I came on, but now I'm thinking it might be a trap, just because we don't know how the defense is going to hold up without that big rock that is Dean Henderson in goal.
I rate Ramsdale quite highly as a goalkeeper, and I think I actually have Ramsdale in my team at the moment, and I don't think Egan's a terrible pick.
I think Sheffield United's defence obviously was improved a lot because of Dean Henderson, but I think that their system also makes them quite solid. I think 5.0 for cleans that are better than Brighton feels fair.
So differential Daniel, would you say?
Yeah.
It comes down a bit to how much you think Ramsdale is a step down from Dean Henderson. I think he is a step down, but not enough to make him a trap. So I'll go different, Daniel.
Okay. All right. Next up, the 4.5 we saw glimpses of it. I still think he's very good, but Ruben Vinagre is on borrowed time, especially with rumors of new signings everywhere.
Yeah.
So is he still in your consideration? I've removed him.
When FPL first opened up and I heard that Johnny Otto did his ACL, I was immediately just glistening with like, oh my god, Vinagre, please let him be like cheap. And then when his price was announced to be 4.5, I almost had a stroke. I was like so happy. But then like, you don't know how long it's going to be there, and he's obviously not rated high enough. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any like worry about new signings or anything. They would have signed some fodder to be his backup. But they're looking like they're going to sign either Gulam or Maitland. So I think it's a trap.
Oh.
I think if you start with it, you might get maybe 1-2 weeks out of them.
I sadly agree. I'm so sad about it. But yeah, I agree. What do you guys think?
I think he's a trap now, just because I think you'll get the dream fixtures of Sheffield United and Man City, and then I think someone will come in and replace him.
Yeah. Oh man.
He's still in my team at the moment because they haven't signed anyone, but I think they will sign someone. The annoying thing is the transfer window is after the Game Week 1 deadline this year again, and could have done with that not being the case this year, with rumors of Messi signing, potential Sancho's. So Vinegar might lose his place. I'm calling him Vinegar, by the way.
Yeah, it's okay.
No, but yeah, he might lose his place, and it seems very likely, doesn't it? So I think he's a trap.
Oh well. Okay, we tried. All right. Next up, another cheap ass chips. Hula orange soda, Cal, and so does Keenan Davis. He's still a striker. He's 4.5. Will he play? Will he not play for you? Because he won't play for me. He's as essential as Nyland for me. But
See, I don't think he is. I think Rian Brewster is the 4.5 pick to go with.
who does he play
Assuming he
for?
gets loaned out.
Well, so
plays for Liverpool.
obviously, like provided he gets loaned out, but I think it's on the horizon. I think.
Wherever he gets loaned to, they're not going to loan him somewhere that he won't
And
play.
I think with the current pricing, I don't think many of us are going to have issues with having 3 Liverpool players at the start. So even if it does take a while for him to get loaned out, you could have that person on the bench just in case. Whereas Davis, I think his game time is severely limited. They've got Samatta, they've got Wesley back. You know,
That's true.
so much competition replaces. I don't think he's going to be as good as people think he's going to be. So I think he's definitely a trap for me.
Okay.
I mean, I suppose his job is to cost 4.5 and sit third bench, isn't it?
Yep.
But,
Yeah, but
Brewster does that job better for me.
Having something to offer if there is an emergency like De Bruyne benching or
again, because the schedule's so packed, I think we are. I mean, it's very, very rare that you actually end up needing your third bench, but it could happen more this season because of how close the fixtures are together. Especially since I'm sure we'll all own City players.
Absolutely.
If Brewster gets loaned out, I mean, it's a no-brainer. I mean, that's
he should. I mean, I'd argue he should be in every team because it frees up money for midfielders there's so many that cost a lot.
Yeah. So where do we put him?
Trap.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
I think
it doesn't matter massively. I mean, if Brewster doesn't get loaned out, I might stick with Davis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to free up the Liverpool spot. But a trap if you think he's going to do anything more than score you a point every 2 weeks.
Okay, then we shall leave it at trap. All right, now shooting back up the price range, we're into 1 in 7 territory now. 1 in 7 people own Sir Harold Kane. I forgot his middle name. He had a middle name, but yeah. Sir Harold Kane, the boy who tried and tried and tried. What do we do about this guy? He's 10.5.
So I have him at the moment. But that's with Werner as well. So I've got a front 2 of Werner and Kane, which I'm pretty happy with. And I don't think I'm going to change that. So he's not essential. Like, you could easily go Son Heung-min instead of him.
He's so
I would argue that he'd go in the same category as Son Heung-min, so it's differential Daniel.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a pretty easy one, a pretty straightforward one. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I played around with Kane and Son, and I've gone with Son.
Okay then. So would he be a better differential than a similarly owned Jamie Vardy?
I mean, depending on fixtures, maybe. I would feel more comfortable captaining Kane than Vardy. But on Kane in general, I think he's overpriced because I think they've compacted the price of the forwards this year. No one costs more than 10.5. I don't remember the last time that happened.
Yeah.
Aguero is 10.5. And last season when he was fit, granted, when he was fit, he scored like his best goals to game for a long time, basically, maybe his best ever. He was unbelievable. I'll never forget the hat-trick and assist that he got when I captained him. I, basically could have cried with joy. It was brilliant. I think, so Kane of 2 years ago at 10.5 would be in everyone's team. But if you sit and look at it without, I don't want to say nostalgia because it's only 2 years ago, and he's supposed to be entering his prime. And I thought he looked good after lockdown. I must say, he looked good after lockdown. But the last 2 seasons, he scored very similarly with Firmino.
What about Vardy?
I think Firmino is overpriced at 9.5. Vardy has outscored him the last 2 seasons and costs 0.5 less.
So does that make him a differential Daniel for you?
I mean, I think his price is a trap. I think Kane himself is a differential Daniel. I think I think they've priced him too highly. I don't think he's as good as Aguero when fit. And I mean, they both have their injury issues. He
Yeah.
has been comfortably outscored by Vardy over the past 2 years. He's been comfortably outscored by Jimenez over the last 2 years. He got thrashed by Ings last year.
Okay.
Martial
So
would have outscored him last year.
let's do a double verdict. Okay, do 2 verdicts at the same time. So one for Kane, one for Vardy, since they are in the same situation and they are priced super similarly, owned super similarly as well. For me, Kane and Vardy are both traps. So I stand there. So Keeds, go.
Well, I have Kane in my team, so I obviously think Kane is the better option than Vardy. But I can understand why people have Vardy. But I will say that with Vardy, you also get a lot of cheaper alternatives, like like Maddison, like Harvey Barnes. Like I'd be more tempted to go with like a Maddison or Harvey Barnes over Vardy than I would having a Giovanni Lo Celso or a Dele Alli over Kane, for instance.
That's true. Like that price alternative for Kane is a pretty colossal downgrade. Where Son, I think, I don't know, Son and Kane over the past 2 seasons have scored very similarly, and he costs 1.5 less.
That's fair.
I need verdicts, people.
I don't know. I don't think I can ever call Kane a trap, because if he continues as he did post lockdown, I think he could do very well. But if he has a season similar to the last 2, 10.5 is too much for me.
What about Vardy?
Oh, Vardy, I don't know. He's just powered by WKD or something, because he should have
Red
tailed
Bull,
off
bro.
by now. I mean, Golden Boot winner last year. He deserved a price increase. I think similar with Kane. I think I would have probably knocked them both down by 0.5 and had that be fair. I just look at them compared to Werner, and I just think Werner's a much better price.
I still need a verdict.
I don't know. I think calling them both traps is harsh. I think I'll go differential Daniel for both.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. Sounds good. Wait. Fionn? No.
Yeah, I have Vardy in my team, and with the 4 positions, I tried not to compare anyone to Werner, just because I think Werner's quite criminally underpriced, maybe by a million and a half.
Okay.
Vardy's opening fixtures are West Brom away, Burnley at home, City away, West Ham and Villa both at home. So I'm kind of taking him for those 5 fixtures and going from there. I have Son, who I don't really believe in coverage, but I have Son from Spurs. Not coverage, but not Kane. I think they're both differential Daniels. I don't have a problem with the Kane pick either.
Good pick.
All right, the next pair are both on the basement range. Stephens 4.5 and Douglas at 4.0.
I mean, they're just bench fodder, aren't they?
Just bench.
If we can have a bench fodder category, if we can't, then let's just rethink their lives. Basically, I think
I would be tempted to put Stephens in. Please rethink your life.
Yeah,
because I think you're better off going 0.5 more for a Thomas Susek or a I forget who else is 5.0. There's a lot better options for your 5th.
Matt Ritchie's 5.0, lads.
That's a good one.
Let's get
even Bukayo Saka is 5.5. I'd consider that.
Like Stephens will offer you absolutely nothing except a 2 or a 3 every week. Like it's
you
not
can find the 0.5. You can definitely find it.
What about Douglas?
I think he's a
4.0.
Never bench, never cap.
Like again,
especially with Ferguson.
Yeah, I was gonna
injured,
say,
right?
Ferguson injured. This is the only real 4.0 option, isn't he?
Yeah. So shall we put him at essential? Just for the 4.0?
He should get some minutes as well, which is the thing, and he takes set pieces. So
yeah,
I don't think I will have a 4.0 defender, but I mean, it's all the same.
If you want one, you might as well pick him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Now, next one. Our 6.5 forward, Fionn. I don't think you are allowed to rate him, because Michael Antonio, is there. He's up there. Norwich aren't around for him to score 4 goals against. So, what have we got left? What have we got left? Because Antonio for me is a fantastic differential. yeah, I would probably
Yeah.
downgrade Ings to Antonio eventually. Just a matter of when.
Is Antonio still nailed on over Haller or
No, I
no? Exactly.
basically
I think
like
he might
I,
be
I
crap.
really want Haller to be starting. I'm not sure what expense that comes to Antonio, whether it's two up top or Antonio on the wing, or like maybe Antonio will start over Haller. But
What
given the
concerns
fixture,
me is that the lack of right backs at the club. Like they've got Fredericks, they've got Johnson, but I do remember some stage where West Ham were playing three at the back and they played Antonio as a right wing back.
Yeah.
Which would be disastrous for if you're having a forward.
no, that won't happen.
That won't happen. You don't
So-
know.
I think
But you don't know
Haller and
how
Antonio are
Antonio
both
is.
equally interesting.
Okay, so does that make Antonio a trap with the Haller threat looming?
But if Antonio is starting, I think he's an excellent pick. I just genuinely don't know what'll happen.
I don't think I'd start with him, but if he's continuing to start and perform, I'd get him 100%.
Yeah, and you're not missing much with the fixtures. The first 7 fixtures are dreadful, so you might as well wait and see.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, wait and see. He
So
has to be starting up front though.
wait and see would be trap territory, right? Because
Yeah.
we're
Go
I
for
think
it.
so for now.
okay.
But yeah, if he doesn't start up front, then it's just so much less appealing.
Okay, now the next one I'm very sure is a trap because he's a Man United player. Duh. Aaron Wan-Bissaka with
Let's have a
the
look.
possibility of David De Gea still around. So clean sheets are probably not even in the conversation. So does AWB do enough?
I mean, they kept 12 last year.
Well, up to the
Okay.
restart, I had the option
Yeah.
of getting De Gea and Wan-Bissaka. I picked De Gea, and that was the wrong choice. Wan-Bissaka just absolutely smashed it to bits, and I was so filthy that I didn't have him.
It's an okay number of clean sheets. I think he got very lucky with some. You mentioned the post restart. I think he got 2 assists, and I think they were both just 2-yard passes for I think it was Greenwood or a Martial absolute banger in the top corner.
There was one cross and one 2-yard pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean,
So,
I owned AWB for nearly the entire duration of the restart. I did not enjoy owning him at all.
What?
Really?
He scored loads of points.
Yeah, at the beginning. But then when he hit the good fixture patch
right.
and you expected him to get clean sheets, David De Gea fucked up so much. And it was not good.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to admit that he does seem to just be dropping the ball in his own net.
Yeah.
Which is not ideal.
Yeah.
5.5.
Anyway,
I think his attacking threats is not good enough, but that's a fine price for me, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Now, for better or worse, Mason Greenwood is now 7.5. We have to take him seriously. How long do we take him seriously for? I don't know because he's barely 18. I think.
They are looking at more right wingers. So I don't think, if United don't sign anyone, Greenwood is an unbelievable pick. He's absolutely the best value of any Man United player in the game, period. But if they do sign someone on deadline day, he becomes a trap instantly, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the second they sign an actual recognised right winger, he's rethink your life almost, to be honest, because I think he's got to ride the bench a lot.
Yeah.
As it stands today, as I sit here, he's essential.
He was in my test draft.
He got 10 goals, and he barely started until the second game of the restart. He vastly overperformed his XG, but I think I think I would expect him to outperform it at least somewhat because he's a good finisher. He's more than a good finisher. And even if he didn't, 10 goals in 1,300 minutes, if he gets twice as many minutes, he could get 20 goals. I mean, it's for 7.5, he's just great value. So I would say he's essential at the moment, but he could easily rethink your life. He's one or the two, basically. He's which I suppose makes him a trap.
Yeah. Time for one-word answers. Verdict time. For me, he's in differential category simply because there are so many. You either get someone higher or lower priced. So he's differential for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Differential.
Differential.
I'm not right. Differential.
Alex McCarthy, the actual differential to Matt Ryan, is he Even
Or is
his
Matt
old
Ryan
name
the
from
differential to McCarthy?
I think McCarthy's the best 4.5 to start with.
100%, of course.
So,
So I think he's either essential or never bench, never cap.
Never bench, never cap for me.
yeah, never bench him
Okay.
because you could go
Never
with a
bench.
more expensive keeper.
I had him until Ramsdale got announced at Sheffield, and then I went to Ramsdale. But if I go for 4.5, I'll go for McCarthy.
All right.
that's-
Now, time to end this section with the legend himself, our dear Lord Lundstrom.
He will be missed.
He's
what
what,
they've done to my
5.5
boy.
now?
5.5 mid. Rethink your life.
Rethink your
So
life.
Actually, no. I think
sad.
I think he's more accurately a trap because I think he's going to trap a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely a
Watch,
trap.
watch him bag a brace now. First game week.
He's so gonna do it. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it.
He's not even nailed, man. They signed Sander, but he might not. Please, he might not start. They might sell him. I don't know.
Hmm.
Wow. Yeah. First three most interesting questions of this part, and then we're gonna close up. All right. Now let's see. I'm gonna start from the back. How long until Todd rage quits and takes a break?
I
Todd,
never
you
take
get
a
one-
break. I rage
Todd,
quit
Todd,
and then
you
I'm
get
like
one guess on
embarrassed.
who asked that question? Who do you think asked that question?
Oh right, oh god, who didn't ask that question? I think that might be a sweepstake apparently, which I'm not allowed to compete in. That's upsetting. I don't know. It's an emotional game, lads. Leave it out. I don't know. I think because the pictures are so tightly packed, I think I could be tempted to go by sort of November sometime potentially.
Oh,
Okay.
ambitious.
It's a late start though, isn't it? It starts in September this year.
Yeah.
All right. Prediction on which team will concede the most goals?
Ooh.
Just one or two if you want. Like
I'm
I
gonna,
can't
say,
look
I'm,
past
gonna,
Fulham.
I'm gonna say Villa, I think. At the
Okay.
moment, they've got Nyland in net.
Yeah, I'm looking at Fulham. I can't look past Fulham.
I'm gonna say West Brom maybe.
Okay, cool. All right. Last one then. The fun one. All right. So just a yes or no. Do you guys think Omka is still a virgin? Look at that face, man.
Nah.
I'm gonna back.
Not a
I'm gonna back
chance.
him. No chance.
Yeah, no, not a
No
chance.
chance? So
No.
how often would he be getting it?
And if he is, it's an
Oh no,
unjust
I
wow.
didn't say he was getting it very often, but at some point.
Yeah, this is difficult. No, actually, it's not difficult. Okay, well, it looks like that question has been answered. All right, we'll save the more relevant stuff for maybe something closer to the actual opening. Thank you guys for your time. It has been great. Like just going through all of this beside you. It's been great.
Thanks for hosting.
Thank
It
you
was
very
fun.
much. Yeah.
Wow.